Hi everyone, welcome to brionylowcode. This is the 7th episode of HomeNest, the real estate app we are building from scratch. In the last episode, we created our property details page whereby user can able to see the full details of each property. If you missed it, I highly recommend it for you to watch first. So in this episode, we are taking a step further by adding a chat functionality whereby user can able to message agents directly inside the app. So here is the property details page whereby we can see full details of the particular property, and then we added a widget here which display the agent's contact. So we are going to add an action to this button to navigate us to the messaging page whereby user can able to message the agent. So what we are going to be doing now is to select on this container widget, and then I'm going to query a row which is going to be user, and then it's going to be single row. So I'm going to filter it by the user ID should be equal to the property details, the agent ID. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I will make sure the user I queried is equal to the agent ID. Then I'm going to change this text to the user row. Then it's going to be the display name. So I'll give it a default variable value of display name. So this text should be able to display the user contact. In our Supabase row, there is no phone number column in the user row. I will go ahead to my Supabase now and then add new column, which is user's phone number. Then after that, I'm going to add another table, which is going to be the chat table. So from this button, it's going to navigate us to the message page. But before that, we are going to check if the chat between the authenticated user and then the agent exists. If it does not exist, we are going to add an action to create new chat for both of them. If it already exists, we are going to navigate from the property details page to the messaging page. So let's go ahead now and create new table for the messaging and then the chat. So here's my Supabase. The first thing I'm going to add now is to add the user phone number. So I'll add new column. So this column is going to be phone number. Then it's going to be numeric. So I'll save it. So after that, I'm going to create a new table. So this table will be charts. And then the chart is going to have some column. The first column I will add is the client ID. It's going to be the hot, and then I will select the user. So it's going to be the user ID. You can cascade and then cascade. So I'm going to save it. Also, we are going to have the agent ID as well. So this is going to be the agent. Then the agent will be from the hot table schema. So I will select the user, the ID. Then this should be cascade. Also, it should be cascade. So I'm going to save it. So what I will add next is the last message. Last message is going to be text, and then I'm going to add last message time. So this is going to be the date and time included in time zone. So let's save the table. So the next table I'm going to add is the conversation. So the conversation is going to have the message, and then the message is going to be text. Also, I will add the images. The images is going to be text as well. Also, I'm going to add the sender. It's going to be from the auth, and then it's going to be the user. So I'm going to select the ID. So this can be cascade, and then this can be cascade also. So the next thing I'm going to add is going to be the chat ID. So this is going to be from the table, and then I'll select this chat. So the chat ID, can select this and then this. So I'm going to save it. Save the table. So after creating the tables, I'm going to add the row level security. So for the conversation, I'm going to create a policy. This is going to be the conversation policy. Then I'm going to select the whole. This should be true. Yeah, this should be true. So I'm going to save it. Also, for the chat, I'm going to add a policy to the chat as well. So I'll create a policy. This is going to be chat policy. So the whole, and then it's going to be true. Also true. So I'm going to save it. So I'll go ahead to my FlutterFlow and then I'll go to my Supabase. Then I'm going to get a schema. So here are the tables I just created. So let's go ahead to the property details page. So I'm going to select this phone number and then I'll select the user role. So I'll pick the phone number. So that's going to be the phone number of the agent. Then I can add a default variable value of number. So before we move further, I will go to where agents can be able to add their phone number to the edit profile page. I'm going to duplicate this text feed. So the page parameter, I will add new page parameter. Then I can call this phone number. This is going to be a double and then it is required. So I'll confirm it. The initial value should be the page parameter, then the phone number. So the display name, the label text, I'm going to change it to phone number. Also, the save button is going to be the update row. I'm going to add new feed and then phone number is going to be from the text feed. Phone number text feed. Good. Now the phone number, I'm going to, the keyboard type is going to be number. And then the filter is going to be digits. So for this error, I'll go to the agent page to clear this error. So let's go to the agent page and then this is going to navigate us to the edit profile page. So I'll pass the page parameter from it. So this is going to be the phone number, then the user details, the phone number. So I'll save it. The next page, I'll go to the account page, user information. I'm going to pass this. So the phone number is going to be from the user role and then the phone number. So we have this error gone. Let's continue the property details page. And then this image should display the, so this should be the profile URL. So I can just go to my home page. So I'm going to copy this default image, then to my property details page. I'm going to give this a default variable value. So what I'm going to be doing next is to add an action to this button. So this action is going to navigate us to the conversation page. Before it navigates us to the conversation page, then I'm going to check if there is a chat that exists between the current user and then the property agent. If the chat exists, I'm going to navigate to the conversation page. Now, if the chat does not exist between the current user and then the property agent, so I'm going to create a new chat for both of them. And then after creating the chat, then we are going to navigate to the conversation page. Before that, I'm going to wrap this button. I'm going to convert it into a component. So it's going to be message agents button. This message agent button, I will add component state. This is going to be the chat, and then the chat is going to be Supabase role. So it's going to be chat, and then I'll confirm it. On component initialization, I'm going to query a row, which is going to be the chart. So after that, I will give it conversation chart. So after I query the row, I will add a component parameter. This component parameter is going to be the agent ID. Then this should be integer, and then it is required. So from there, I'm going to add another action to the button. So this, after querying the row, so this action will update the component state, and then which is the charts row. I'm going to set the value from the action output conversation. Then I'm going to filter the list item based on the single condition. Then the first value is going to be the item in list. I will get the row feed, which is the agent. If the agent is equal to the component parameter, the agent ID, then I'm going to add another, then get the row feed. So this should be client, and client is equal to the authenticated user ID. So this page parameter should be string instead of integer. That's why it's showing this error. So I'm going to remove it. Then I'm going to select the item at index. This should be the first item. So I will confirm it. And then let's change the page parameter to be string. So this is string. So I'm going to confirm it. Then I will continue the action. So the agent is equal to the component parameter, the agent ID. That's not all. I will copy this action, then I'm going to change this action from and I'm going to change it to or. So the first value, I'm going to paste the variable I just copied. I'll paste it here. If the chat agent is equal to the agent we want to message, and then the client is equal to the authenticated user ID, we want to get the value and then make use of it to navigate to the conversation page. Now, the reason why we make use of or is that in case the agent itself is the authenticated user, is the client. So if the agent itself is the authenticated user ID, if the agent itself is authenticated user ID, and then the other user, which is the client, is equal to the component parameter, the agent ID. So I hope you understand this. The reason why we do it like this is that at times property agents might be the authenticated user that want to message another agent. So for the conversation not to breathe together, that's why we do it this way. So I'm going to confirm the variable, and then this is going to be the item at index. So the first item, we are going to set the value to the component state. So that's it. On top of this button, we are going to add another action. So this action will navigate us to the conversation page. Though we haven't created the conversation page, let's go ahead now and create the conversation page. So this page is going to be conversation. So I'm going to delete the app bar and then delete the column. So I can just disable the save area. Now I will go back to the message agent button. Now this action should navigate us to the conversation page. So here's our conversation page. It is blank already. So I'm going to add the agent ID to this button to clear this error. So I'll go ahead now, and then the agent ID is going to be from the property details and then the agent ID. So I'll confirm it. So we should have this error gone. Good. So now this button should navigate us to the conversation page, but before it navigates us to the conversation page, let's go ahead and check if the chat already exists. So we are going to add a conditional, and then this condition is going to check if the component state, the chat, if the chat is set. If the chat is set, I'm going to, let's call this action, then navigate it to the conversation page. If the chat is not set, we are still going to navigate to the conversation page. But before we navigate to the conversation page, I'm going to add another action. So this action, I'll push it to the top of the navigate to the conversation page. We are going to insert new row, and then this row is going to be chat. The first field to add is going to be the client. The client should be the authenticated user ID, and then the agent should be the agent ID from the component parameter. So that's going to be all for now. If you are following this series, you remember we already created the chat page when we are creating the navbar. So here is our chat page. Now I will go ahead now and create the two pages, which is the chat pages and then the conversation page. The reason why I have to complete this page behind the scene is to save much of our time, because designing UI in a FlutterFlow usually takes time, unless you make use of the FlutterFlow AI page gen. If you are interested in making use of FlutterFlow AI page gen, you can make use of it so that you can save much of our time. But for me, I'll go ahead and create the UI behind the scene. After that, we can continue the journey. If you are building an app with FlutterFlow and Supabase and you've hit the wall, things are getting confusing and you want it to be done right, or maybe you are just thinking about building full functioning app from scratch, yeah, I can help you with that. I am a professional that can bring your idea to life. I build really professional apps from scratch, even more than the one you are watching right now, fully connected to Supabase, authentication, messaging, everything you want to add into your app. That is what I do. Just send me a message. If you also need help with custom function, custom actions, or custom widget that is out of FlutterFlow bug fixing, sometimes it might be small bug issue, sometimes it may be the whole features that won't just connect. Yeah, I've been there and I can help you. Feel free to reach out to me at the email on your screen right now. Let's talk about your app. I'm glad to work with you. Alright, welcome back guys. I've completed the conversation UI and then the chat UI. Here is the chat UI, what I've done so far. So there is nothing special about what I did here. In the beginning, I make use of stack because of this navbar. So as you can see, we have two widgets there. We have the navbar widget and then a column. So this navbar, we already explained how it got there in the previous video where we are creating the navbar. Now in this column, I have the app bar container. So this app bar container has a text widget and inside the row. So that's all for the app bar container. And then the main container, I have the chat list view. In the chat list view, I have the chat details container, and then I have a chat row. Also, there is a container of an other user image. Also, I have a column. So this column has a row. I have the text inside the row, the display name, and then the last message time text. I also have this last message text. So that's all for this chat page. Now let's go ahead to the conversation page. So in this conversation page, What I did here is, let's start from the beginning of the UI. I have a container for the UI, then I have a column here. Also, I have an app bar. So this app bar contains a row. I have a button to navigate back. There's an action on this button to navigate back. Also, I have another row. This row contains a container of other user profile image. After that, I have another column. This column has a display name, and then we have other text here. This text, you are going to work on it very soon. If the user is online and then last name of the user, we are going to work on that in other video. So that's that for the column. Also, we also have an icon here. This icon is to, maybe you want to delete the chart, you want to add the chart to archive, or you want to do wherever. So this is the icon. Also, we have the main, you can just collapse. Also, we have the main container of the conversation. You can expand it and see what is there so far. So we have a column. Inside that, we have another container. In the container, we have a list view. Then we have the messages. This is the messages column. This is the other user message, and then this is the authenticated user message. Now, in the message, and each of the message, we have different stack. We have different stack. The function of this stack is to stack the message and then the time on each other. As you can see, we have the message container here, and then we have the message time here. So that is the function of the stack. So in the message container, I have a text inside, and then in the row, I have a container and then another text inside. That's how I did this as well. So let's see the other stack. So the other stuff, we have a container. So we have this column. I wrap this column in a wrap. You see the reason why I make use of wrap here. When we want to display multiple images, and then we have a text. Also, we have the message time. Also, if you want to upload image, we have to display the image in the UI before we upload it. That's when this row comes in. We also wrap it in a stack, whereby we can remove item from the list. If we don't want the image, we upload image we don't want. We have the container, whereby it contains the upload file. Here with this button, you can upload image. This is the text feed of the message, and then this icon is going to send the message. So that's that for the conversation page. So after we insert new chart, let's query the chart and then display the chart in our chart page. So I will go ahead now to the chart list view. I am going to query Supabase row. So this is going to be charts. There's going to be a list of rows. So I'm going to filter the item by the client is equal to authenticated user ID. If the client is equal to the authenticated user ID, or the agent is equal to authenticated user ID. So I want to filter all the charts here, so I'm going to confirm it. So on top of this chart details container, it's going to navigate us to the conversation. This is going to navigate us to the conversation. So I can just make use of this instead of components. I'm going to make use of it as project team load indicator. List view, I'm going to close that. So this spreadsheet should be the last message of this chart. And then this is going to be the last message. That is going to be the last message. I can give it a default variable value of last message. And then this should be the last message time. And then it should have a date and time format. You can just give it maybe this. You can just give it this. Then we can give it time. So that's that. Let's go ahead and then test our app and see how it works. So our test mode is done running. Let's test our app and see how it works so far. So from here, we can now contact the agents. So it navigates us to the agent page. Now we have to fix an issue whereby if agent is authenticated user, the agent won't be able to message himself. So we are going to the property details page, and then we are going to bind this with conditional visibility so that agent will not be able to message himself. Conditional, single condition, whereby the property details we are going to get a row feed the agent ID. If the agent ID is not equal to the authenticated user ID. So if the agent ID is not authenticated user ID, then this will be visible. So that's that. So let's reload the app. So the test reload is done working. So let's go ahead and good. So now as authenticated user, we can't be able to see the property. So if you go to our Supabase and then we see the chart we created recently, so you can see the client ID and then the agent ID. Both of them are the same thing. So that is not what we want. We want the client should be different from the agent. So now we go back to the text and then log out from the account page. So let's implement logout to this account page. On top of this widget, we are going to log out. So now the reload mode is ready. So we can now log out from this. Now log out. So let's create a new account. This can be clients@gmail.com. So then the password. Now we can sign up. So now that we've signed up, so we can now contact the agent. So this is the agent. Let's go ahead and contact the agent. Yeah, it works. Let's see if the new chart is now created in our Supabase. Good. There is the new chart. You can see the client's ID and then this is the agent ID. You can just delete this. This is not useful for us. So after that, let's go to our charts and see the list of our charts. Here is our chart. So this client has one chart. On top of it, it navigates us to the conversation page. So in the next episode, we are going to be able to type messages and then send message. Also, we are going to be able to upload image in the next episode. So here in the chat, we are going to implement it whereby we are going to see other users we are chatting with in the conversation. So So this is going to be the end of this video. Stay tuned to the next episode. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video. If you have any question to ask, put down your question in the comment below. Follow.